Hi guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to quick sort an array so that it is in increasing order. So for example, here we have 2, 5, 3, 1, 4, and after we quick sort it, we should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then at the end of the video, I'll walk you through each line of the code, and then you will finally realize that quicksort is actually pretty easy. The first thing I'm going to do is put the indexes here. So you can see this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are just indexes. And then the second thing I'm going to do is put the start and the end. So we want to quick sort the array from the start, which is at index 0, to the end, which is at index 4. And we're ready to call the quicksort function. So here we're going to call this quicksort function, which takes in the array, the start, and the end. So as you can see here, we call the quicksort function. We pass in the array, and then we pass in the start, which is 0, and the end, which is 4. Now it's going to check, is the start smaller than the end? So basically the start is 0 and the end is 4. So indeed, start is less than the end. So it's going to move on to calculating the mid. And let me show you how to do it. So the mid, the formula is mid is equal to the floor of the start plus the end divided by 2. So this is equal to the start, which is 0 plus 4 divided by 2, and then we round down. So 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so let's fix that. And then 2 rounded down is still 2. And there you go, we calculated the mid at index 2. So the mid is right here. Then we move on to the next step. So the pivot is the array at the mid index. So it would be this number. So the pivot would be the number 3, and I'm just going to circle it right there. In a moment, you will see why the pivot is so important. So let's move on to the next step. And the next step is to partition. And partition sounds like a scary word, but it's actually very simple. So just imagine that this is a game. Okay, let's pretend this is a game. And we have the pivot, which is number 3. So the goal of this game is to move all the numbers smaller than 3 over here, over this side. And then we move all the numbers larger than 3 on this side. So for example, let's say over here we have 5 and 4. So we move all the numbers larger than 3 over this side. And then how about over here? Well, we have 1 and 2, right? So we want to move 1 and 2 over here, right? So the order of these numbers don't matter. You can have 1 and 2, or you can have 2 and 1. It doesn't matter as long as we get these groups in the correct place. And the partition game requires 2 players. So let's call these players left and right. And we're going to place left at the start and then right at the end. And let me just show you how the game works. So we say, hey L, look at this number right here. Look at this number right here. Is this number smaller than the pivot, which is 3? And L says, yes, 2 is smaller than 3. So L is going to move up. And then we ask L again, look at this number. Is this number smaller than the pivot, which is 3? And L says, no, this time 5 is larger than 3. And so we say, okay, L, just stay there. Now we look at R and we say, hey R, look at this number. Is this number larger than the pivot, which is 3? And R says, yes, 4 is larger than 3. And so we say, okay, R, move down. So R is going to move down this time. And then we ask R again, hey R, look at this number. Is this number larger than the pivot? And R says, no, 1 is not larger than 3. And so we say, okay, R, stay there. And the last step is to swap these 2 numbers. We're going to swap these 2 numbers. And then we move L up, and then we move R down. Then we repeat this process until L and R has crossed each other. So it looks like this. So when R and L has crossed each other, then we pause and stop the partition game. Okay, so we look at L again and we say, hey L, look at this number. Is this number smaller than the pivot, which is 3? And L says, no, 3 is not smaller than 3. And so we say, okay L, just stay there. Now we look at R and we say, hey R, look at this number. Is this number larger than the pivot, which is 3? And R says, no, 3 is not larger than 3. And so we say, okay, R, just stay there. And then we do the swapping. And finally, we move L up and we move R down. As you can see, R and L has crossed each other, so the partition game is finished. Now, we're just going to record the index that L is at, which is 3. So we're just going to record it and we say that this index will be equal to 3. And since the game is finished, we're going to say, okay, thank you, R and L. You guys can go home now. Before we move on to the next step, let's first summarize the partition game. So the partition game says, repeat the steps below until L and R has crossed each other. Step 1. We keep moving L up as long as the number in the array is less than the pivot. Step number 2 is to keep moving R down as long as the number in the array is larger than the pivot. Step 3 says if L hasn't crossed R. So this is just to double check to be safe. Then step 4 says we swap the array numbers at L and R. Then step 5 is we move L up. And step 6 is we move R down. And when L and R has crossed each other, we return the index that L is at. Now let's actually write the pseudocode for the partition game. So we have the function, the partition function. It passes in the array. We have the left index, the right index, and the pivot. So while the left is smaller than the right, or the left has not crossed the right, then we do these following steps. We say, okay, we move L up as long as the number that L is at in the array is smaller than the pivot. So that's what this means. And then we move right down as long as the number that right is at in the array is larger than the pivot. So we check, we say if left and R has not crossed each other, then we swap the array numbers at left and right. Then we move left up, we move right down. And when left and right has crossed each other, then we exit the while loop and we return the index that L is at. And this step is actually very important, which you will see why in a moment. So we know that the index is at 3. So this would be our index right here. And let's move on to the next step. So this time, we want to quicksort the array from the start to the index -1. So let's actually draw it out. So we have quicksort, we pass in the array, the start is at 0, so that would be 0, and then index -1. So index is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, so it would be 2 here. So this quicksort would go from here to here because that's index 0 to index 2. And then the last step is to quicksort the array from the index to the end. We pass in the array, we have the index, which is 3, and then the n is 4. So this quicksort will do the computation for this part right here. We're going to quicksort this part, and then we're going to quicksort this part. So let's start with this one here. We're going to put the start and the n in this subarray, and now we check, is the start less than the n? Yes, it is. So we calculate the mid. So mid would be equal to the start plus the n divided by 2, and we round down. So this would be equal to 0 plus 2 divided by 2, and we round down. So this is 1, and 1 rounded down is just 1. And so this here is the mid, which means that the pivot is this number 1 right here. The next step is to partition. So we're going to put L here, and then R here. So we say, hey L, look at this number here. Is this number smaller than the pivot, which is 1? And L says, no, 2 is not smaller than 1. So we say, okay L, just stay there. Now we look at R, and we say, hey R, look at this number. Is this number larger than the pivot, which is 1? And R says, yes, 3 is larger than 1. So we're going to move R down. And we check, has L crossed R? No, they haven't, so we swap 2 and 1. And we move L up and then R down. L and R has crossed each other, so we're going to save the index at L into this variable here. So the index here would be equal to 1. And then we say, okay, thank you, R and L. You guys can now go home. And then we have the quicksort here. So this quicksort, this step right here, we have quicksort. And then we have the array. We have the start, which is 0. And then we have index minus 1. So from here, we know that the index is 1, which is here. The index is 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So this quicksort will take care of this part right here. And now we have the last quicksort statement. We have quicksort, the array, the index is at 1, and then the n is at 2. And this quicksort will take care of this part. Since we have 2 more quicksorts, we need to split this array again. So we are at this quicksort, and let's work on this one. So we start here. We're going to check, is the start less than the n? Well, is 0 less than 0? No, it's not. So because this if statement isn't true, it's not going to do anything here. So this quicksort is automatically finished by itself. And then we have this one. So entering the quicksort, is the start less than the n? Well, is 1 less than 2? Yes, it is. So this if statement is true. So we have to calculate the mid. The first thing I'm going to do is put the start and the n. And the mid is going to be the floor of s plus e divided by 2. And that would be 1 plus 2 divided by 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So we have the floor of 1.5. And 1.5 rounded down is just 1. So the mid is actually here. After calculating the mid, we have the pivot. And the pivot right here would be the number 2. And we have the partition. So we're going to put L right here and then R. We say, hey L, look at this number right here. Is this number smaller than the pivot? Well, is 2 smaller than 2? No, it's not. So we tell L to stay where it is. Now we look at R and we say, hey R, look at this number. Is this number larger than the pivot? Well, 3 is larger than 2. So we move R down. Since R and L has not crossed each other, we're going to do the swapping. Then we move L up and we move R down. We see that R and L has crossed each other, so we're going to return the value that L is at, which is the number 2 right here. So the index will be equal to the number 2. And then we tell R and L to go home. After the partition, we are here at this step right there. So we need to quicksort again. Here we have quicksort. We have the array. Then we have start, and start is 1. And then we have the index minus 1. So the index is 2. The index is right here. So index minus 1 would be equal to 1. Then over here on this last quicksort, we have quicksort, we have the array, we have the index, which is 2, and the n, which is 2. This quicksort will cover from 1 to 1, and then this quicksort will cover from 2 to 2. Now we have to do this quicksort because we always do the quicksort on the left first before we do it on the right. For this one, we have the start, which is 1, and the n, which is 1. So is 1 less than 1? No, it's not. So this quicksort doesn't do anything. And now we do the right one. So is 2 less than 2? No, it's not. So same thing. This one doesn't do anything. And so since these two are finished, it means that this one here is finished. And since these two are finished, then this one here is also finished. And this is the last quicksort that we have to worry about. In this one, is 3 less than 4? Yes, it is. So we're going to put the start at 3 and then the n at 4. This part is finished. Now we calculate the mid. The mid is equal to the s plus e divided by 2. So s plus e, which is 3 plus 4 divided by 2. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. And then after we round down, we're going to get 3. So the mid is going to be right here. We found the mid. Now, how about the pivot? Well, the pivot is just number 5. It is time to partition, so we're going to put L here and then R here. We ask L, look at this number. Is this number smaller than the pivot, which is 5? Well, L says no, because 5 is not less than 5. So we tell L to just stay there. We look at R, we ask R, look at this number. Is 4 larger than the pivot, which is 5? R says no, so we tell R to stay where it is. And since L and R has not crossed each other, we're going to swap these two numbers. So we're going to swap 5 and 4. Then we move L up and move R down. And as you can see, R and L has crossed each other, so we're going to return this index, which is the index number 4. So index here will be equal to the number 4. After the partition, we have the quicksort. So this quicksort will be QS. We take in the array. The start is at 3, so start is 3. And how about the index? Well, index is 4, so 4 minus 1 gives you 3. And then we have the last step, which is the last quicksort. So quicksort, we put in the array, the index, which is 4, and then the n is also 4. So this quicksort will cover from 3 to 3, so that would be from here to here. And over here, it's 4 to 4, so it would be this one. We're very close to finishing. So looking at this one, we need to start with this one. Is the start less than the n? Well, is 3 less than 3? No, it is not. So this will not do anything. How about this one? Well, same thing here. 4 is not less than 4, so this doesn't do anything. Since these two are finished, this one here is finished. And since these two are finished, then our original quicksort is also done, which means quicksort is now completed. And as you can see, the array is now sorted from least to greatest. Let's quickly go over the quicksort code in Java. And here is the first part of quicksort, so go ahead and copy this down. Then we also have the partition function like this. And here is our main function. We have our array. We're going to print out the original array. Then we're going to sort the array using quicksort. Then we're just going to print out the sorted array. So let's go ahead and test it. And as you can see, this is the output of the program. We have our original array. And after we sort it, we can see that the array is sorted from least to greatest. Now, one thing to note is that instead of calling quicksort array and then we pass in the index at the start, which is 0, and then the n, which is the last index of the array every single time, there is another way to do this. This time, I modified the code so that the quicksort only calls the array and we don't need to pass in any more parameters. So this is much more convenient. And how do I do this? Well, I overload the function. So here I have quicksort, we pass in the array, and then this quicksort will call the other quicksort with the 3 parameters. Last but not least, the best case for quicksort is O nlogn n. The average case is also O nlogn n, and the worst case is O n squared. So how did I know that these are the big O of quicksort? Well, that's gonna be discussed in another video. So that's basically it for today. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I also hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also comment down below. In the next video, we will talk about radix sort and bucket sort.